process of that digestion, pre-digestion. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's beneficial then to eat the raw first and then the cook. So that raw can help in the digestive process as well. The research showed that as we get older, we don't even secrete enough hydrochloric acid. So it becomes a serious issue with the elderly, and they have to do something to support that. All right? So systemic enzymes. Okay. Systemic enzymes are beneficial, and there is quite a large list. Some of which you think about: serrapeptase is one, bromelain is another, papain is another, and other proteolytic enzymes, right? Serrapeptase is the strongest. It's a protein enzyme that when taken between meals, it goes in to the body, into the blood, the tissue fluids, and begin to digest inflammatory materials there. As a result, it helps to counteract inflammation in the body wherever it is found. Inflammation is common to all health conditions. So one enzyme that's beneficial, or a type of enzyme, is a systemic enzyme taken on an empty stomach. It does wonders for clots, fibroids, joint issues, blood clots, of course, and keep the blood nice and thin. Fibrocystic type situation, very powerful. As a matter of fact, even in case of cancerous situations, the tumor that's formed, the protective coating around the tumor, in Europe, they use like bromelain enzyme, which is a proteolytic enzyme, to go in and eat that protective protein coating from the tumor and expose it to the immune system. And they combine that with their medication, and so their drugs can get to the site. Okay? So systemic enzymes are very important. Digestive enzymes are also important for the mere fact that the Creator expected that we had lots of enzyme. That's why He gave us 100% raw. So one very beneficial thing that we can do to support our developing health is to support our digestion with a good metabolic enzyme, a good enzyme to assist in the breakdown of the food. Okay, we can eat the best food, friends. If our enzymes are not strong enough, if we don't have that digestive juice, if we don't have that hydrochloric acid to do its work, then you're not going to get the benefits. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Yes, it's always in an empty stomach. Typically, first thing in the morning, great time. Take it that your stomach is empty. And at night, before bed, that's great time. But you can also take it 2 hours after a meal. It's considered should be emptied, or an hour before meal. Okay? Okay, that was particularly designed as a digestive enzyme. The systemic enzymes usually is one of a proteolytic enzyme that goes in, that's taken between the meals. But you can also take that, a digestive enzyme, between the meals, and the enzymes in it will help to clean up the blood just the same. But it's stronger as a systemic enzyme, like your protease. Issues with fibroids and so on, will help to remove those kind of stuff. Okay, I have this here. This, of course, is your normal joint situation, the way the Creator intended it. This is your osteo arthritis. You see the cartilage is pretty much gone there. And so you got bone and bone. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay. You got bone and bone. And so that's a terrible issue when it comes on to movement. And I want to point out here that the cartilage, when the cartilage gets this bad, usually before that gets that bad, the bowel is also very bad. Because the same substance that formed the cartilage also is supposed to make the colon wall slippery and slick so the food moves nicely through. So it's almost a guarantee that if anybody has a joint condition like that, their bowel is long time stopped up, long time in trouble. Okay? And when it finished, take it from when the deficiency is continued for a while, then it will go to the spine and start working on the disc and so on and so forth. So the issue is we got to go back to the liver, provide the raw material to the liver, because the liver has to make those initial amino acid structure which eventually form the cartilages, and it can be rebuilt, but we have to take care of the liver. Okay? And this is an inflamed condition, rheumatoid arthritis. See the tremendous inflammation. Now you get those proteolytic enzymes in there, and it's going to remove those kind of inflammation out of the joint. See what I'm saying? Not to mention the hydrotherapy demonstration which we showed yesterday. Hot and cold fomentation, it stimulates the circulation and bring fresh blood and so on to the area. All right? So that's beneficial. Let's move on. We're going somewhere. And so we see our Creator's plan. He had for us a raw diet. All right? The diet given us by our wonderful Creator was 100% raw. It was loaded with enzymes, right? Absolutely. So therefore, we can, as I mentioned earlier, we can make sure, give me another click on that there, please. We can, as a result, we should choose to have raw as an important part of our nutrition program. And we're not covering all the aspect of nutrition. What I'm laying is a foundation in the Creator's plan. You see what I'm saying? That no scientist can gainsay it. Yes, ma'am. Those that you are able to handle, just deal with those that you're able to handle. Your lettuce, your romaine lettuce, your leaf lettuce, your parsley, and so on and so forth. Those that are easier to digest for you to handle, use them in abundance. You should, with your vegetable meal, have your nice Lord salad. Okay? We are going somewhere, so hold your question there a minute and try to remember it, okay? All right. So abundance of raw, because they're rich in enzyme, okay? Now the other important aspect from what the Creator did is that it was a diet high in fiber. You see what I'm saying? All we have to do is to study what the Creator did. The invisible things of God are clearly seen, being understood by the things that He created and made, right? Romans 1:20. So if we consider fiber to be important, as we find here in this quotation, fiber is found exclusively in plant-based foods. Milk, egg, fish, meat, and their derivatives contain no fiber at all. All plants' food in their natural state contain fiber. Did the Creator know that? Absolutely. That's why He gave us that. He didn't give us a refining plant to remove the fiber. Okay? A high fiber diet will also help to prevent obesity and regulate blood sugar. All right? You see the reference there. I mean, Creator knew that. Yeah, sometimes we like to hear somebody else say, who's this guy standing up here telling us all these things? That's why I tend to try to hide behind what God did. See what I'm saying? Hey, He knows best. Okay, so here's the thing. This talks about fiber, connection with health, and so on and so forth. The father of fiber hypothesis was the first researcher to connect a high fiber diet with better health in the 1970s. He's second. He's after the Creator. He observed that people who lived on the traditional African diet in rural communities had almost no diabetes, irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, diverticular disease, colon cancer, or heart disease. They couldn't afford it. But Africans who consumed the Western diet had the expected incidence of these conditions. It is common knowledge today among the medical community that a low-fiber diet leads to digestive and cardiovascular disorders. The Creator diet was right, friends. We can trust our Creator, friends. I tell you, if we don't have the scientists, all we have to do is to take this book here and read it and study it real well. And it gives us God's plan for our health. You understand, friends? No man can improve upon God's textbook for physiology and science and nutrition. I kid you not, I believe it. Okay? All right, we're going somewhere. So diabetes, irritable bowel. What else? Constipation, diverticular disease, colon cancer. All these, friends, God said, okay, I need for y'all to have a high fiber diet. I'm going to give it to you right from the start so we can prevent all these conditions. See, friends? Okay. Heart disease as well. And when we talk about water tomorrow, we're going to show you that water, that pure soft water, will keep your arteries clean as a whistle if you drink it. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to show you the process by which that plaque is deposited on the walls of the artery, and that if you and I drink it, that water, we will be a blessing. Okay? All right. So I better drink my water. Okay? Give me an advance there, please. Okay. All right. Dietary fiber has a range of metabolic health benefits through a variety of mechanisms, etc. Let's move on so we can get to where we need to be. Surprisingly, constipation, you know all of that already. Okay. Our bodies were built to make use of thousands of plant compounds when they are included in the diet. The result is health, but sickness is a result of excluding these substances from our diet. All right? Evidence from prospective cohort studies indicate that a high consumption of plant-based food, such as fruits and vegetables, nuts, and whole grains, is associated with a significantly lower risk of coronary disease and stroke. Friends, meat is expensive. Not only to buy it, but it's expensive on the effect that it produces upon the system. Okay? It requires a strong gastric juice to break down that meat. And if you and I don't have a strong gastric juice, both the younger children And as you get older, then you're only going to be accumulating excess nitrogen in your blood from indigested protein or too high a protein. And what that's going to do, friends, is going to thicken the blood. Excessive nitrogen thickens the blood. And the rest could end up in a heart attack. See what I'm saying? We'll explain more about that tomorrow. You are with me, right? Plant-based diet, that's what God wants for us to have. Okay, that was a disclaimer. We can move past that. And going to the next section here. So that was the two important points I brought out from here in the nutrition. It's not extensive, but the important points are, number one, the Creator intended for us to have lots of enzymes in our diet. The way we get that is by eating lots of raw food in our diet. If we're eating cooked food, then it's a wise thing to add a digestive enzyme with our meal. Okay? And two, the food should be as natural as possible. That refined stuff, that enriched stuff, all of that stuff has no place in our diet. It's only going to kill us. The Creator gave us high fiber diet. So those 2 points are covered. Of course, the Creator's diet, when you look at the nutrition, the nutrient density list, it was out of this world. That's why Adam was able to live for 900 and something years on his diet. Friends? So the point is we must choose foods that are nutritious, not simply because it tastes good. Look for nutrition. Eat foods that are nutrient dense. All right? Now, the disease question, we want to hurry through this here so we remain on schedule. All right? The disease question is an important question. You know, you may be able to, medical doctors are able to treat disease. They're licensed to do that. But unless we understand properly what disease is, we know we can't treat disease. We can't cure anybody. We can't do that. That's the realm of the Creator. Not even medical science, though they take the claim, can heal anybody. They can't do it any more than you and I can. All they can do is assist nature. You got a wound, they may be able to stitch it up, bring the flesh together, and nature does the wonderful work of knitting. They can't do it. See? So credit needs to be given to where credit is due. It's the Creator's role to do that. Okay, so when we think about disease, think about this inflammation as a common factor with all health condition. And you know, you may say, we may ask, is disease a friend or an enemy? Which one is it? All right, great. Great, I heard friend. Yeah, that's right. Disease is a friend. Though it may be painful at times, Dr. Russell Troll, he says, disease is the life principle at war with an enemy. It is the defender and protector of the living organism. It is a process of purification. It is the effort to remove foreign and offensive materials from the system and repair damage the vital machinery has suffered. Sounds good, right? He's not alone in making such a statement. Sorry, it says, diseases are not individual arranged in classes like cats and dogs, but conditions growing out of one another. It is not living in a continual mistake to look. Is it not living in a continual mistake to look upon diseases as we do now, as separate entities which must exist like cats and dogs, instead of looking upon them as conditions like a dirty and a clean condition, and just as much under our control, or rather as the reactions of kindly nature against the conditions in which we have placed ourselves? That's Florence Nightingale. Anybody know who that lady is? Any nurses around? Okay, that's her statement there. All right. Now, God's messenger says this: disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from the violation of the laws of health. Notice in all these definitions, they put disease, they say about a condition. Okay? A condition, an effort of nature. Follow me now as we move on. Minister Field on page 127. Okay? All right? So what we have here, we see here, friends, what disease is. Violation of the laws of health result in unhealthy condition, and nature exerts an effort to free the system from that unhealthy condition that exists. Why does it exist? Because of violation of the laws of health. Let's move that thing fast. Okay, so what happens then? Violation of the laws of health will result in mineral deficiencies, which creates unhealthy condition. Dr. Ream says a mineral deficiency is the cause of all diseases. Lifestyle factors that result in lack of minerals and nutrients to the body. Here it is at a glance again. Unhealthy condition, nature's effort. Okay? So we have nature's effort, friends, which is the power of God. Nature's effort, exerting an effort, just like the heart have that energy that pumps. It is the power of God, friends, that is built in, that exert that effort, and nature's effort produce symptoms. And symptoms these days may be categorized, or is usually categorized as the disease. Okay? Nature's effort is considered as a disease. A fever is a disease. A boil could be a disease. A tumor is a disease. Everything is a disease these days. So we don't understand what nature is doing. So all we have to do is try to wipe those symptoms out, and the problem is fixed. Well, maybe it's not as easy. As we go on, you will see. Also, this is Miss Nightingale. She says, okay, we read that one. She says this: the specific disease condition is the grand refuge of weak, uncultured, unstable minds, such as now rule in the medical profession. There are no specific diseases. There are specific disease conditions. We're going to see that as we go along. Okay? There are specific disease conditions. That word condition is very important to what we're talking about. We're trying to identify what disease is. Remember yesterday I told you that we're going to identify, you have a built-in still within you that can produce all the microbes that you ever need, right? You can sell some. All right. Dr. Young says disease is a general condition of one's internal environment. It is not the symptom we see, nor is it the entity that attacks us from somewhere else. If germs are involved, they arise as primary symptom of the general condition. Though germs don't cause disease, secondary symptoms, commonly called the disease, are produced in response to their activities. He also talks about that condition. I know you're still trying to see where I'm going because, this is totally different from what most of us have been taught. All right, just hang in your seat. Ream says the practice of medicine blames bacteria and fungus for the cause of disease. The doctor uses vaccine and antibiotics to counteract disease instead of replacing the mineral so nature can restore health naturally. Vaccine may kill the undesirable fungus and bacteria, but it does not replace the mineral deficiency. And it also kills the friendly bacteria, which protects our bodies from future attack. And so one of our discussion will be on probiotic, those friendly bacteria. All right? Keep in mind, we're going somewhere, and we've got to get there by the grace of God. All right? He says, disease is a general underlying condition, not the symptoms we diagnose or the bugs involved. That germs stimulate the occurrence of more symptoms because of thriving in an unbalanced terrain. So while it is the condition, we're looking at the condition, the unhealthy condition that result. In the condition that result, let's say you have a dirty water, right? And the longer it stays there, the more microbes that's going to generate, and it's going to, the microbes themselves have to eat, and they have to pass waste. And so all of those help to add to the puzzle. And so the body has to deal with those too. So the microbes secondarily, by their activity and their waste, the body reacts also to them. But they are not the primary cause of the condition that exists. You see what I'm saying? They are not the primary cause. The primary cause is a violation of the laws of health, which result in the blood being dirty, too thick, and so on. All right? And you're going to see it. Okay? You're with me, right? Claude Bernard, another scientist, says, acknowledge that disease is a general underlying condition. All right, we read that one. So we're looking at the condition which results from a violation of the laws of health, right? Unhealthy condition, there may be changes in the anatomical structure as a result of the deficiency, because the cell one of the first things that occurs, the cell loses energy, begin to swell up with moisture. Because the carbon goes into the core, and so carbon is the governor for moisture. So the cells that are losing energy will normally swell up larger than their perfect cell. Okay? And it gets to a point where they break connection. The internal environment of the cell is totally foreign to what it was before. So you have that condition there. If the proper measures are not taken,